in terms of strategies, you can't miss a question on these models. These models are very important. Like now we have what we call the value chain, Porter's generic model, the value chain. So under this value chain, we have very important key activities that you're supposed to appreciate. So we have what we call the primary activities. And here we have the support or the secondary activities. Primary and what is somebody? Secondary activities. Now listen and listen to me very well here. Listen and listen to me very well here. So when we talk over Porter's value chain, the Porter's value chain, first of all, you must have done this if you are normal class. So mine basically is to brush through it. Mine is to brush through it. You must have done this in your normal classes. Mine is to brush through it very fast in 5 minutes. So here we are. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't look very nice. Okay. So we have what we are calling the primary activities. Primary activities. And then we have what we are calling here the secondary or support activities. So the primary activities, we normally cram them using the word pith. We have here pith, the pith. So for primary activities, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have? For example, we have this H standing for human resource management. We have in this case here technology. We have in this case here infrastructure. We have procurement. So remember, at the end of the day, here we have what we call the profit margin. The profit margin. So here now we have five activities. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the first one is the inbound logistics. Had you done this in your classes? Had you done this concept in your classes? The value chain. Yes or no? Very fast, please answer very fast. Please give me an answer. Yes. Yes. Only from one student? No. Yes. So after inbound logistics, what do we have here next? I want to involve you guys. What do we have here next? After inbound logistics, what do we have next here? Or not outbound. First of all, we have operations, isn't it? So we have operations. It's after operations that we have what we call what here, somebody? Outbound. The outbound logistics. After that, the next one, second last. We have a big thing in terms of what your sales, marketing. Yes, sales and marketing. And then lastly, we have what we call after sales. Now, when you are doing your planning, if you would want to stand out and really be noticed outside here in business and be able to fetch serious prices when others are charging very lowly, you'd want to charge serious prices, then strategically, this is a model that you need really to consider in your organization. If you'd want your profit margins here to be growing, regardless of what is happening, regardless of COVID-19, you would want If you want this profit share to keep on growing in your case, you must, ladies and gentlemen, adopt this particular model called the value chain, right? Look at, for example, how raw materials are being brought into your organization, right? If you look at, and I always give you this example, if you go to Hilton Hotel, you'll get a very good lunch over there, good fish that will cost you about 5,000 Kenya shillings, drink, etc. like that, so 5,000 Kenya shillings, right? If you go across the road, go all the way to Kirinyaga Road, somewhere there, we have those small mabanda restaurants, right? You'll get the same fish for maybe 300 Kenya shillings. And the mabanda fish, for sure, is so sweet than even what we have at Hilton, because Hilton, most of them, these guys here will keep on refrigerating their food for so long. So the question is, why will you have, in this case here, somebody, running to, or rather, if you go to Hilton today, you'll get, today lunchtime, you'll get, in this case here, people are queuing for their buffet to buy that fish for 5,000, right? It's because Hilton has really utilized, optimized all the value chain activities. So if it's inbound logistics, how do they get their raw materials? They get their raw materials, ladies and gentlemen, number one, high quality, or rather what they try to show us on website. Look at, for example, if you go to their website, you'll be able to see, for example, how they bring in their raw materials. Inside the refrigerated water, for example, canters, refrigerated canters, right? Right? So they ensure that if it's their fish, it is standard, not one being very big and another one very small, getting customers in this case every time telling you, no, don't give me this, bring me, no. Everything is very standardized. So inbound logistics, you're looking at raw materials. How are you acquiring them? The quality, the prices. Do you have, in this case here, a steady procurement department that is just doing that, right? Wale wengine wale hii duka mabanda ya samaki ya 300, how hata waangalia hizo vitu za quality whatever, right? Hata waangalia how they bring in these things. How tu, hata unapata mtu amebeba, supplier amebeba samaki kwa kichwa, anapita katikati ya watu wanakula, right? That is why in this case, somebody will not be willing to pay a very big price for their meal. Right? Very important for us to appreciate this, ladies and gentlemen, inbound. We are looking at the raw materials, etc. Operations. How do we prepare this food, for example? If it's a Serena Hotel, now they're adopting what we call the open kitchen, right? People should be able to see how they are cooking live. If it's the Kibanda Hotel, ladies and gentlemen, their kitchen is strictly forbidden to customers. The kitchen is strictly for the employees, and it's even written on the doors that this area you can't go beyond, right? Because we know there are kind of dirty things which are happening in the kitchen, right? During operations, ladies and gentlemen, make your processes transparent. And that is why I showed you under these integrated reports, I showed you that you must lay there everything you're doing. Nobody in this case would want to be associated with you if you're doing dirty things at the background and you don't want them to access, to see what is happening there. People would want everything to be transparent. That is why they'll be able to, that's how they'll be able to pay a high price for that. So operations, ensure that how you're operating, it has to be in a very transparent way. Outbound, how are you delivering these goods of yours here to the customers? The strategy nowadays, in terms of outbound, in terms of your distribution channels, ensure that you outsource. Big organizations like breweries nowadays, they don't do distributions themselves. They only have connections between them and who, and for example, they are retailers or wholesalers. But in between here, how distribution is being done, they have outsourced this fully to DHL. So if you don't have that competence, ensure that you do what here, ensure that at the end of the day, you outsource, give firms that are renowned globally, right? For distributions. Firms like these ones here, very important big firms like these ones here. You must have seen them all over. Very big firms. They can distribute that for you. Sales and marketing, we have discussed this. It will be very important, ladies and gentlemen, these organizations that you are able to see charging a premium, and yet they have people flocking there. They're so good in sales. They're so good in marketing. They have a website. They have social media handles. Kibanda akona social media handle. Akona time kweli. Hana time. So I'm teaching you this because I would want, ladies and gentlemen, within no time, when you start your business, I would want them to be outstanding. Start a business by having a website down. Start a business by having some social media presence immediately, right? And when it comes in this case here to distribution, ensure that you are, of course, embedding your operations with the best in the industry. How do you serve? How do you serve, right? Then we have after sales. If, for example, you're selling refrigerators, customers would want to be associated with a seller who is able to give them after sales services. Somebody who, after selling to them, can support them, right? Somebody who is able to give what here warranties, etc. So come back to these secondary activities. Secondary activities, ladies and gentlemen, are also very important. Like now we need a dedicated procurement department, right? Hilton has a procurement department. The Kibanda people don't have a procurement department, right? So we have infrastructure. Why I would want to go to Hilton today and take, for example, a soda for 500 Kenya shillings, it's because of what here, the ambience, right? The ambience, especially, for example, like the Sarova Stanley, the ambience is top notch, right? You are up there on the 5th floor. There is a swimming pool, which is even heated, right? If you are a member of their gym, you will be able to take that soda of 500 shillings in a very relaxed way, right? After some time, you dip yourself, even if it's at night, even if it's at, like in the morning right now, if you go to Sarova Stanley, you'll be able to straight away swim because their pool is heated. So the infrastructure, do you have infrastructure? Like Kibandaksi, unaenda huko straight away, unalipwa 300, unakula juu. Iko mtu amesimama anangoja ufanya nini? Umalize kukula aketi. Sasa unatoka unaenda kulipia bill huko nje because they don't have infrastructure. So ensure that you invest in infrastructure. The bad thing with most of us in business is that once your business starts flourishing, a little bit like this, you start in this case here cutting out money that belongs to the business to other things. Leave that money there, right? Get yourself a salary so that this business can keep on acquiring infrastructure as we get along, right? So it will be very important for us to think about what infrastructure, technology. I love this concept of technology, right? Technology, ladies and gentlemen, automatically will even outpace what here? Language barriers. If it's hotel, you'll see, for example, if you bought good aeroplanes, right? What they'll do, they have in this case here something like a tablet. So what food do you want today? So if you don't understand the writings there, you'll be able to go to where you are seeing cuckoo, you press, right? Technology. What technology systems do you have for your accounting? Do you still work for organizations that are using QuickBooks? QuickBooks, this is an outdated thing. I don't like it myself. I would want in this case here, for example, SAP. I would want in this case here, for example, Arrow software for group consolidation. Systems in this case here that I've got what we call the BIs, the business intelligence. I'll be able to see my dashboards, right? As an owner of the business, I would want to see in this case here, for example, are my students paying fees very well, right? I would want to see those intelligence, etc., intelligence reports, business intelligence, right? So in terms of the technology, this will be very important. Ladies and gentlemen, even if you put all these resources together, if your HR policy is not strong, HR is everything. If your HR is not strong, then at the end of the day, your firm will collapse. So you need a very good human resource manager, right? A human resource manager who knows that at the end of the day, we must try to ensure that labor turnover is reduced. Absenteeism at the work should be going down. When you see absenteeism at the work increasing, it means that straight away, ladies and gentlemen, it means that straight away there is a problem with human resource. So you get a young man, in this case here, this young man leaves work at 5. Imagining what you have done to him the whole day, right? And what he expects tomorrow, you'd rather go to some drinking spree, like up to 1. So this guy will come to job maybe at 11, right? 11 a.m. tomorrow. So once you start realizing these things, know that there is a problem with HR. HR, the moment people know that the company is after their welfare, you are in this case here, for example, deducting their 5% of their salaries, and the employer adding like 10%, right? That's 15% of their gross salary. Contributing this, for example, to ICA allowance through a pension scheme. Once employees know that, ladies and gentlemen, you are taking care of their welfare, like when they will retire, you are thinking about them, then these guys here will be able to do so much. And the moment they do like that, what will be happening to your firm? Your firm will get what we call a competitive edge in the industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I wanted to discuss with you this morning regarding this model. So I hope you've taken in some quite important concepts that you can be able to use to discuss a question on the value chain. It's called Michael Porter's value chain. Michael Porter's value chain. Have you been able to pick these things in a way that you can now write a few things yourself in an exam? Most importantly is, first of all, to know how to draw it. Yeah, Sharani says yes. Great. So we have the primary activities, we have the secondary activities. The other model that I would want us to discuss very fast before we embark on what we want to do today is the BCG. At least every day I should discuss how many models? 2 models. At least every day I should discuss 2 models. Great. So allow me to get the BCG. I project it here. So BCG comes from the word Boston Consulting Group. Boston Consulting Group. Boston, B-O-S-T-O-N. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have the BCG. So BCG, there are 2 things that we must always know. We have 2 axes. The first axis here is the cash usage, or what we call how do we grow our market growth, cash usage. And then we have a market share, which is what we call the cash generation. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very interesting, a very interesting thing that we need to appreciate here. Cash generation, and then we have in this case here what we call the cash usage. I don't like how they have drawn this. I don't like how they have drawn this. This is not very good. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, I would rather draw this. It's called the Boston Consulting Group. Yeah. So here we are. Here we are. Please draw yours very fast. Draw yours very fast. Draw yours very fast. Yeah, draw yours very fast. So we have got 2 axes. We have the cash usage, right? Or in this case, here, what we are calling market, what we are calling market growth. What we are calling the market growth, the market growth. So how do we grow our markets? Through advertising. So we have to use a lot of money to advertise. We have to use a lot of money to do what? To advertise. We must use a lot of money to advertise. So we have here market growth, cash usage. And then we have the market share, which is what here, cash generation. Now here we have marketed enough, we are reaping, we are reaping. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if, for example, we have something very important here, look at this. Here we are, not advertising, and you're not getting any cash at all. This quadrant, we don't see any reason why we should advertise, and even if we try, we are not getting any market at all. Then that product that you are talking about should be called what here? Should be called a dog. Should be called a dog. Should be called a dog. How about this? You are not advertising at all, but money is coming. Money is coming. What type of a name should we give to this particular what here, somebody? Should we give to this particular product where advertisement is low, but money is coming? Cash cow. It's a cash cow. It's a cash cow. This is a cash cow. A cash cow. Right? A cash cow. Right? How about this one here, ladies and gentlemen? We are advertising aggressively. We are trying our best as parents. We are giving this kid a lot of Cerelac, right? Lakini mtoto hakui mkubwa. Unapoenda tu kwa clinic kila saa unaambiwa mtoto wako 3.8. Unashangaa kama amerogwa na 3.8. Hapa, you are advertising so much, but really there is no growth at all, right? So here we should talk of what here. It's a, you put a question mark. A question mark. You'll put a question mark, or we'll call this one here a problem child. A problem child. You must really wonder what is not happening. Kama ni Cerelac nimempatia, right? Right? Ama nimemfanyia breastfeeding throughout mtoto, lakini hakui mkubwa. There must be a problem, right? There must be a problem. How about this one here? We are advertising heavily, but again, God on the other side has been able to favor us. The generation is very high. So we talk of what we call what here, somebody, we talk of a star, like that. We talk of products which are what here, which are stars. If you look at, for example, like Aereo. Aereo is one of the products that I'm so proud of. It's one of the products in this case that was able to beat the mighty, the giant Unilever, hands down, hands down, hands down. These guys were advertising aggressively with very good advertising lines. Like unasema sabuni ya mwosho mmoja. Hapana chagua ile ingine. Ile ingine lazima uoshe mara mbili na inaikuwa bado chafu zaidi. Right? Lakini yetu ni mara moja, uchafu inatoka yote namna hiyo. And they were able really to, so you could see they were advertising aggressively and money was coming in. They were able to dethrone Omo up to date. Omo has never recovered. They even took them to court, but nothing. So in this particular case, ladies and gentlemen, then it means that Aereo is a star product. We are able to see it shining, right? Could you kindly give me examples of products outside there that you know are a problem children? Is there anybody who knows a product outside there which is a problem child? That really this company has done its best in terms of marketing the product, but the product is not flying. 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 Is there somebody who is able to give me a product that you guys know of? Like Airtel, yes. Airtel with the Airtel money, nothing. Even telecom as a firm, the products that they are really advertising, at the end of the day, nothing. Nothing, right? I don't know about Jamii Telecom, Mbogwa, that guy used to come to us to our sitting rooms through television, advertising, saying internet, there is no buffering. Was the product able to fly in the market? No. So that's a problem what here? A problem child. So Angelica, when I'll come to some case question, you will see us making use of this BCG model. BCG model, yes. BCG model. It's Boston Consulting what here? Boston Consulting Group. Boston Consulting Group. Boston Consulting Group. Boston Consulting Group. So it's my hope that at least you have picked something out of here that will be helpful to us. So you know what is a cash cow? Like in terms of breweries no longer advertises Tusker Lager as they used to advertise Kitambo. Tusker Lager to them is a cash cow. So they are milking the cash cow, using this money they're getting from the cash cow to advertise other products which are not so popular. So for example, we have a product which is not very popular for them. It's Guinness, right? Right. But even Tusker now is getting a lot of competition from like Keroche products, like the Summit, etc. Right? People come from nowhere and then they start cheating people that this beer does not have sugar. How can it lack sugar? They're using rice, they're using sorghum, right? And then they are able to dethrone some of the most products here, right? Most products here of big companies from number one leadership positions like that. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, please you'll allow me to share some documents here with yourselves, and then we shall be able to know the best way forward now here. Great. Now we are entering that stretch where I would want to take like 30 minutes. Coke is a star, they are really advertising. These guys are really advertising. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at question number one. Before I look at what I would want us to do today, look at question number one. Objectives are needed in every area where performance and results directly and vitally affect the survival and the prosperity of the business. Discuss this statement and identify those key objectives considered to be most important to a business. 10 marks. Objectives. We must have studied about management by objectives. Management by objectives, MBO. They are needed in every area where performance and results directly and vitally affect the survival and prosperity of the business. Discuss this statement and identify those key objectives considered to be most important to a business. 10 marks, I'm giving you exactly 7 minutes. You try that question yourself. Try that question yourself. And if possible, I'm here on WhatsApp. I would want to read your answers on WhatsApp and give feedback straight away. And give feedback straight away. I'll send you this document, so you should not bother about it. Please ensure that you are able to write very well, and then we compare notes. We see where we are. Objectives are needed in every area where performance and results directly and vitally affect the survival and prosperity of the business. Discuss this statement and identify those key objectives considered to be the most important to a business. Don't write on the charts. I want to see your answer, how your answer is structured on WhatsApp. I want to see how your answer is structured on WhatsApp. Please ensure that you are hustling. You must hustle. You must hustle kabisa. You must hustle. You must hustle kabisa. All right. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of the question. Take a screenshot of the question. Let's write something, because I know an exam would have written something. An exam, I'm 100% sure that you would have written something. So I'm still here on WhatsApp. In your WhatsApp group, normal group, just go there and share your answer there. I would want to see how you're writing. I would want to see how you're writing. Meanwhile, I'm working on the background here. Reject a case question. This just by the way. Great. I'm here to see any answer. I'm here to see any answer there. Ama we shall overcome. So my 7 minutes are over. I'm here to see. Let's discuss here. Let's then post the answers here. Let's post the answers here on Zoom. Let's post the answers here on Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, what is expected? Almost done. Okay. Almost done. Great. Great. Why should we have a list of objectives in our organization? And when they use this word discuss, discuss means that you look at both sides of the coin, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages. Innovation. So I'll have to look at the question. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that objectives are basically those things that we intend to attain, right? Something that we are putting our efforts as an organization to ensure that at the end of the day, we do whatever we attain it. It is our goal. It is our goal. It is our goal. So something that we are basically looking at to ensure that we attain, right? That automatically will be a goal. It will be like our vision. It will be how do we walk to our vision, right? How do we walk to our vision, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we have that in mind, really. It's important that we have that in mind. Very important. Now, then having at least done some small introduction there regarding objectives, saying that these objectives are the goals that we have, that all of us are ensuring that we work towards them, right? We are putting all our efforts as an organization to ensure that we attain them. Once we attain them, we shall be able to do what here to attain the company's overall vision, right? Then what is the importance? Why should we have our farm run using these objectives? The first important, ladies and gentlemen, is to ensure that our activities are aligned. Our activities are aligned towards the company's vision. Activities are aligned towards the company's vision. That's number one. The second thing that will make me work with objectives as an organization is for control purposes, right? People have their key performance indicators. People know that every day, this is what we are expected to generate. This is what we are expected to do, right? To reach our goal, right? So things are basically aligned. Things shall be in control. Ladies and gentlemen, objectives will also help us to address conflicting concerns. Conflicting concerns. They will help us to address any conflicting concerns. Of course, for those of you who are working, especially in senior management roles, you know that there are so many conflicts in between the departments, right? So anytime we work with the objectives, those conflicts will always be addressed, meaning that there shall be better coordination. Right? The other point, ladies and gentlemen, is that if these objectives are tied to some good reward structure, if they are tied to some good reward structure, it can be a very powerful motivational tool. It can be a very powerful motivational tool. Very powerful motivational tool. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we govern our organizations using objectives, we shall encourage efficient and effective use of what here? Resources. Encourage efficient and effective use of resources. Our employees, in this case here, shall be more what here? Shall be more innovative. Our employees shall be more innovative. Right? But now, because they use the word discuss, this is something you'll get so many guys going wrong, right? Because, discuss is about two sides of the coin. You must also come and give us, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, what are the disadvantages? So do we have any disadvantages of working with the objectives, managing our organization using objectives that are clearly set down? Are there any disadvantages? There must be disadvantages. There must be disadvantages. There must be disadvantages. I can assure you there will be disadvantages. Ladies and gentlemen, number one, a lot of time is spent in formulating objectives. So you shall be able to basically have your senior resources in the company, right, working on these objectives. And remember, it's a resource you are consuming. It's expensive. So another point is that this thing is expensive. It involves employment of huge amounts of financial and human resources. In most cases, like where I've worked before, where I've seen these guys have used these objectives of managing, you can even be forced to hire consultants like Kenya Airways, right? Ladies and gentlemen, remember, organizations are very dynamic. Things change often. Things change often. Things change often, right? So you're saying that these objectives you're setting here today, the KPIs you're setting here today may become obsolete in a short while, may become obsolete in a short while. There is also the problem of implementation. Implementation, at the end of the day, may be a challenge. So it means that these things can just end up being paper tigers, very good on paper, but nothing on the ground. Paper tigers, paper tigers, paper tigers. You haven't yet answered the question fully. Remember this question LM questions are very nice. You must be a very bright person. Discuss this statement and identify those key objectives. Identify the key objectives. So I'll have another headline where I'll talk of what here the key objectives. So key objectives are which ones, ladies and gentlemen? The key objectives are which ones now? The key objectives are which ones now? The key objectives. The key objectives, or what basically we call types of what here? Objectives. Types of objectives. So of course we shall have objectives or key performance indicators on, we must have profitability objectives. Profitability objectives. We must have survival objectives. How do we survive? We must have efficiency objectives. We must have growth objectives. Growth objectives. Dominance objectives. How do we dominate the market? I'm so sure this question, all of us would have gotten all the marks there. Actually, over 10 marks. All of us would have gotten all the marks there. Yes, customer retention objectives. Profit maximization objectives. etc, 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 etc. All right. How many marks out of 10 would have you gotten in that question, ladies and gentlemen, out of 10? How many marks would have you gotten out of 10? Please be honest with me. Please be honest with me, out of 10. Let's further discuss, looking at the advantages, disadvantages, and then the types of the objectives themselves. Nick says 10. Thank you so much. Peter 8. Great. That's not a tough one. That one would have aced this correctly. Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this other question here before I look at my case. Remember, I've got very many hours, right? This basically is preparing groundwork. I'm doing groundwork for my case question. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am. Question number 2, very common in your exams. Outline the role of committees and examine the importance as part of an organization's management structure. Wow, 10 marks. Outline the role of committees and examine the importance as part of an organization's management structure. So this time around, I'm all giving you 5 minutes only. Think through this question, try to jot something, try to send something, and then we evaluate. Please take a screenshot of this question. Take a screenshot of this question. Take a screenshot of this question. Outline the role of committees and examine their importance as part of an organization's management structure. So I have to structure my question very well. There are 2 questions here. We have role of committees and the importance of the committees. Many guys will only answer one part and then they'll always keep on complaining. Why am I failing leadership for the 4th time? The 2 questions there. You must be sober. Role of committees and the importance of committees. So I'm giving you exactly 5 minutes. By 5:47, we should be through. Okay. So please, let's start posting answers here. What do we have? Today, you guys are not doing what you normally do. What do we have? Even here, just post here. Just post here. So if I were you, I would have some small introduction. The introduction is very important. The introduction is very, very important. The introduction is very important. How you introduce a question in leadership is very, very important. How you introduce a question in leadership is a very important thing. You don't just dive into answering. No. Great. Like I can see what James Kia is saying here. Like Galaxy, this is good, but don't please dive in. Don't dive into the answers like that. They have spoken about committees. It's important in this case here, you tell them committees. What are committees? What are committees? Right? Saron tells us that a committee comprised of board of directors in the organization is okay, right? But this James Kiai's definition is much better. Committees consist of specialists and experts. Hence, they advise the board of management in an organization, e.g. the audit committees, right? So they have an advisory role. This is a very important thing, right? The committee has a role to make what decisions. Yes, committees, some committees like the audit committees, they're quite independent, right? They'll go and make a decision and they simply come to the board for purpose of what are rubber stamping. For purpose of rubber stamping, right? Waiting for your points. Sorry for disturbing you. I know this is disturbing you. I know most of you come here expecting to get like answers up. No, that's not me. These are paper that we teach once and for all. So I have to teach you how to answer these questions. So remember, a committee is a group of people appointed for a specific function. It's a group of people appointed for a specific function by a larger group. A group of people appointed for a specific function by a larger group. So why should we work with a smaller group and really not the entire group? In some of the boards that I have served, for example, currently I'm among the audit, or not audit, but board committee members at ISPAC, right? When, for example, you sit there say 30, the bigger group, 30 people, there will be a lot of conflicts. People will not tend to agree. And that is why they'll sit and say that, hey, let's have a fewer people here talking about member services, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, one of those duties, roles of these committees, which you'll always have to pick, is the concept of what here? Reduction of tension, especially at the board level. Avoiding too much heat during discussions. So let's have, ladies and gentlemen, a smaller committee of fewer individuals. They go and deliberate there, and then they give us a document for purpose of what year endorsement, right? Somebody has spoken something very nice here, that this committee that is chosen there will be composed of specialists. So they're good in that area. Instead of involving every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the board, I mean, that is wastage of the board's time. Let's harness our key competencies between ourselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we go the committee way, then we shall be able to tap onto the skills and the expertise of highly experienced people. So in short, that these guys here will be able to give the board very well informed direction, because of their expertise, right? Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, most of these committees provide what we call an oversight role. Like the audit committee. The audit committee, they will be doing an oversight on internal auditors. They'll be doing an oversight. Of course, we know that external auditors are supposed to be independent, but who do they report to, right? Right. So they provide an oversight role. They monitor ongoing what year operations. Thank you very much. We have Sherilyn. They have a role to solve. Yes, they have a role to solve difficult, problematic issues in an organization. So, for example, I remember one time I was in this particular board. I don't want to mention names. And the company was taken to court. And this thing became quite a big blame and ending game in the board. We told you to go and discuss with these people. Now here we are. What they did was basically to form a committee of 3 people to go and do what here? Check out the best way of handling this matter, right? And of course, it wasn't like myself. I was not taken to that committee because I'm not a lawyer. So they got a lawyer, blah, blah, like that. And people, of course, who showed a lot of passion in the case, right? So that even if the case was still outsourced to external legal experts, I mean, within the board, we had people really who were monitoring what was happening and reporting to the board, right? I like this, a very good point, right? Right? Even when, for example, it came to arbitration, it is these committee members who are attending arbitration with this suing party, right? So I like that. James K is raising a very important thing, that this committee of experts, ladies and gentlemen, of course, at the end of the day, there'll be quite a lot of documentations being done. They document quite a lot. They document quite a lot for posterity. During documentations, they also work with these junior people, for example, in the farm. So there's some kind of training. Committees consist of experts. They train junior employees to ensure continuity in the organization, right? Look at what Rebecca is giving us here. Very good points are now coming. Setting the strategic direction to guide and direct the activities of the organization. Very true. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, at the end of the day, the board is the one that is charged with this concept of setting the strategic direction. But the board itself doesn't have capacity. They'll have to rely on the committees. The committees, because of the expertise, they go and craft something for us. And then at the end of the day, we shall be able to, have that direction set for us. I can see from Gladys, ladies and gentlemen, here, they follow up on implementation of strategic plans, the concept of what you're monitoring. Thank you so much. Good points, and these are the points that I have here, right? Atino tells us that committees help in the induction of new employees and also setting of what year remuneration. Remember, we have what we call remuneration committee. We have what we call remuneration committee. We have what we call remuneration committee. Great. Thank you so much. Have we answered the question in full? No, 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 no. Remember, we have the role of, let's read this thing very well. They wanted us to give them the role of committees and examine the importance as part of an organization's management structure. Importance as part of an organization's management structure. I think we have just compressed the two together. We have compressed the two together. We have compressed the two together, right? However, I would want us to take note of the following. Note of the following. We have said the concept of pooling knowledge and experience to committees, right? Right. The other point that I would want us to have there is the concept of improved communication, right? You've said the training ground for participants, especially junior employees, all right? Yes, another very important point of this committees, where we need to have them, the concept of distribution of water authority. We should not have just authority being vested on the chairman of the board. No, we need to have other committees where we have a chairman, other chairman as well, right? Ladies and gentlemen, also remember we go the committee way to simply ensure that we abide by the law. We abide by the law. We abide by the law. Like now, the old committee, each county government, parastatals, they are required in these cases to have water audit committees. Audit committees, very important. So this one, I'm so sure from what I've seen, you guys would have gotten all the marks. There's no mark you would have lost there. Now, we go to great. I did not see that. I hope the video is off. It's not easy. It's not easy. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, question number 3. What are the key characteristics of charismatic leaders? Key characteristics of charismatic leaders. Look at how many marks they're giving us. 10 marks. Please screenshot this question. Please screenshot this question. You know, people may think I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. What are the key characteristics of charismatic leaders? So you must start by simplifying things for us. Tell us who charismatic leaders are. That's how you start. Charismatic leaders like that. And then you come and mention title, key characteristics of charismatic leaders. You underline. You start answering slowly. What are the key characteristics of charismatic leaders? Key characteristics of charismatic leaders. Key characteristics of charismatic leaders. So mtu atakiwa kwa kitanda saizi usimblame, baridi ni mengi. Baridi ni mengi, lakini ikiwezekana tafadhali, just get out. Yes, great oratory skills, yes. Charismatic leaders, ladies and gentlemen, are orators, right? They are likable. They are people who use their own personal character for leadership. So you must be beyond reproach, right? Leading by example, yes, right? Rebecca told us up there that charismatic leaders influence others by their inner strength, i.e. that natural ability to inspire and motivate others. Naturally, there are people who are like that. There are people who are gifted like that. There are people who are gifted like that. Ladies and gentlemen, read the question again. What are the key characteristics of charismatic leaders? So have we answered the question? 10 marks, really. What are the key characteristics of charismatic leaders? Key characteristics of charismatic leaders. So now go straight away to key characteristics of charismatic leaders. We'll do like this, like a joke. And then when you go to an exam, you get straight away the question that you wonder how comes. Very good, Maxi. They have a desire to serve and develop others. Compassionate. I repeat, compassionate. I repeat, compassionate. These guys exercise a lot of empathy. They exercise a lot of empathy, right? They have very good listening skills. Oh, ukiwa ni mtu papa mambo mengi, we will not say that you are charismatic. You have to know, ladies and gentlemen, that listening is as good as speaking. Give people a chance, especially for those of you who will become chairman of the board, chairpersons of the board. You must have a very good listening skills. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go and become a chairperson of the board, and then now here you are taking over all the entire discussion, the charisma and you cannot be in the same sentence. Creativity, yes, they think outside the box, very important. Ability to solve problems. Thank you very much, confident. You must be very confident. You must be very confident. Hata kama tunajua unadanganya, unaangalia kamera, no, you must be very confident. You must be very confident. They are confident of themselves. They rarely show self-doubt, yes. Strong communication skills, Saumu Sumba, yes. Yes. Peter in this case, is talking about they never give up, but these guys are very resilient. Use the word resilient, Peter. They are very resilient, very resilient. Like during Corona, ladies and gentlemen, so many people had given up. I went very fast and started these online classes. Like, very confident, yes. We shall overcome. They are determined, yes. They are optimistic, yes. They hope for the best, like that. Thank you so much. So if you don't mind, I would want us to go to this question. How is no, sorry, let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. How is visionary leadership different from charismatic leadership? Look at this kind of a question now. It doesn't look nice. I mean, how is visionary leadership different from charismatic leadership? So remember, if I'm the one answering this, I'll really cheat the examiner. I'll define, in this case here, what visionary leadership is, define what charismatic is, and then I'll come and write a big heading, difference between visionary leadership and charismatic leadership. Even if I don't get all the 10 marks, I'm so sure I'll be able to get a few because of just how I structure my work. So please take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of this and try as much as possible to really do what here to answer this. How is visionary leadership different from? Please, first of all, tell me what visionary leadership is. You can even use Google there. What is visionary leadership? Leading by talk, leading by talk, leading by talk, visionary. No. Stephen, do more research there. Do more research there. Do more research there. One thing you're supposed to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that yes, you could be charismatic. You could be quite a high guy in terms of motivating others to do. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, at times this kind of motivation can be negative. We have people like who now? Which people do you know globally? Like, is it like Karl Marx? Right? There are people we know that they used, in this case here, they are big influence to take people to hell. But when you are visionary, of course, charisma has to be part of you. Visionary, you are given your objectives. You know, in this case here, where you're supposed to go, right? So visionary is all about positivity. Now you are walking straighter. You are taking these people to the positive direction. Charisma, ladies and gentlemen, fine, you could be innovative, you could be all that, but we have seen people in the past who are able to lead people to not so good places. Remember, visionary leaders and gentlemen is that leader who is able to create even new visions for the organization. They just sit like this and they're able to say, hey, where we are going now, given our old vision, we cannot get anywhere. They create new vision. They ensure that this new vision gains acceptance. That's a visionary leader. You get a buy-in, people in the board, everybody, the employees, they're able to accept your new vision. They appreciate what we call change management. So they shall be able to carry out the change and ensure that there is a refreeze in that organization, a refreeze of that change. Yes, so I can see very good points, ladies and gentlemen, coming from you guys here. Yes, they focus on the long-term plan, right? What we call long-termism. Visionary leadership have a specific goal in mind, which is long-term goal. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sherilyn, it's a leadership that focuses in long-term strategic plans so the concept of long-term is there. Right? Rebecca, visionary leaders are able to come up with a vision for their own organizations. Thank you so much. They're able to see through the potential of the organization. This is a very good point, Rhoda. They're able to see through the potential of their organization. As everyone else is there complaining, these employers are bad. Remember, there is this thing of employees, because they are, in most cases, we are spectators. We always tend to see bad things about our employers. We don't see like they have ever even done, we see them to be very stupid. So I don't subscribe to that school of thought. I would rather, in this case here, see the potential, right? If I'm visionary, I must see the potential, right? If I'm visionary, I must see the potential. Right? So you see, it's telling that that a visionary leader will focus on broader objectives. No. A visionary leader normally, okay, to start with, he'll have the broader objectives. But at the end of the day, these guys here really go to specifics. They go to they are known for one or two things in the organization, right? Right? They specialize quite a lot. Visionary leaders specialize quite a lot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for us to get some time also to look at, yes, like Steve Jobs was a visionary leader. That guy was not a joke. And since he died, things have never been the same again. At iPhone, at Apple, things have never been the same again. We're not seeing those guys in this case. That's why we have these simple phones coming up and now overtaking iPhone. Visionary leader ensures that the vision becomes what here? Reality, like Mandela is. Mandela, ladies and gentlemen, great. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Here we are. Look at question number 4, and I hope you have taken screenshots here. Question number 4, it's about business process reengineering. How can it be distinguished from other approaches to work design? So I would expect a good student, first of all, to tell us what business process reengineering is. What business process reengineering is. I would expect someone, first of all, to give me the meaning of business process reengineering. Are we done with the differences? Yes. Right. Yes, at least you have a high understanding, high level understanding, what we call the helicopter approach. So you know that visionary leaders, after, for example, they envision whatever they want to do, they must always get, for example, a buy-in, acceptance. They must ensure that that vision is actually, charisma. You are working, yes, towards it, but it's not a must you achieve, right? Vision leading people to positive change. Charisma, at times you could use your influence. You could use your influence even to take people to south. Like in high school, you just get a young boy in high school just coming up with a concept like he's charismatic. He's a good communicator, right? Right? He has that bonding with students, and then they get themselves, in this case here, engaging in riots. That's not a visionary leader. Where is he taking these young people now? That's a useless person, but he's still charismatic. Like, look at the charisma that Mike Sonko movie enjoys. If Mike Sonko movie today was to be given a chance to run in Mombasa, I'm telling you, that guy will win. Not that he's the best, but he has charisma. And he knows where to touch. Okay, so we're discussing about this business process re-engineering, ladies and gentlemen. We finish, and then I'll be able to give further guidance on what we need to do for us now to tackle some great question here. Case question. Yeah, now you're becoming nicer as you progress. You're becoming nicer as you progress. This will really help you. This will help you. Will tell me, wow, great. How could I forget that thing of press ups? We need them, yes. After this question, yes. We need them, yes. Before we start our case question, we need to do press ups, squats. Great. I can see the question that Faith is asking there. Thanks. Let's finish this. Let's finish this. Let's finish this. Let's finish this. So I'm not getting answers. I'm not getting any answers from you guys. Yes, now Rebecca, you have this. It is a process of fundamental rethinking and radical change of the processes of an organization. Please write that down. BPR is a process of fundamental rethinking. Fundamental rethinking. We want to re-engineer. We want to re-engineer, right? Business processes. So the word process has to be there. It's also known as business process redesign years. The process of fundamental rethinking and radical change of the processes of an organization, process of an organization. Yeah. So like ourselves, now that we are working on this ISO certification, we are really doing a lot of process re-engineering, where we sit down and say, really, fine, we have this process, but is it the very best? Does it give us an output, in this case, in a very optimal way? Right? So we rethink, and in the process of rethinking, then automatically we shall have, ladies and gentlemen, a better way. Then we shall be able to redesign our systems. We redesign our processes. This can be done through organizational structure, technology, etc. Right? etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, anytime we talk of business process engineering, number one, you must appreciate the fact that even the managers themselves now will be involved. They're highly involved. So you don't say that these are tasks to be done by employees. No. We have to be on top of the game. As we talk of business process re-engineering, ladies and gentlemen, we must talk of empowering the doers. We get involved. We train them if we are so good at this as managers, but at the end of the day, it is the doers who would want to understand these processes better than anybody else. Right? And the process re-engineering, ladies and gentlemen, we must capture, unlike the other methods here, under process re-engineering, we must capture the current status. We must capture the current status on paperwork. A lot of write-ups have to be done, right? Right? A lot of discussions have to be done. So we must capture the current status the way it is. And then, of course, recommendations about what we need to redesign, about what has to be done, right? Right? When we talk of business process re-engineering, ladies and gentlemen, unlike the other methods, there must be a lot of stakeholder engagement, right? So you get, in this case here, for example, stakeholders. Ask these people, if it's Kimbo, why don't you like the solid Kimbo? And then people will start telling you, know what, even if you guys are saying that yours is healthy, people now have gone the liquid way, right? So there must be a lot of what your stakeholder engagement for you to redesign your processes, right? Business process redesign or re-engineering, ladies and gentlemen, is normally struck at the top, right? It should start, ladies and gentlemen, at the very top. Of course, you can have employees giving you suggestions here and there, but first of all, the first people should be able to endorse any process re-engineering and motivate everyone else. Unlike in the other systems, it is the board. It is the board that will sit down and say, hey, our market is shrinking. What could be the problem? What could be the problem? So in this case here, by doing that kind of intrigue, questioning themselves, then they involve others within and of course outside the organization, then automatically they'll start rethinking their entire processes. So we want to repeat this, ladies and gentlemen, as somebody told us up there, when we talk of business process redesign or re-engineering, we are basically thinking thoroughly about the current processes that we have with an objective of improving them. When we improve them, automatically we shall have these processes being done by the doers quite easily, right? Quite easily. And then most importantly is that now the output will increase. We must involve everybody. We must involve the relevant stakeholders when we are doing any business redesigns, right? Because they are radical changes. If you don't involve people, at the end of the day, you could redesign something, which in this case here takes you south. And then there is the concept of capturing information. There is the concept of capturing information. There is the concept of what you're empowering the doers. Where should we capture information under business redesign? As somebody again told us up there, you know, these organizations would want them to outlive us. Whenever there are any changes to our processes, capture them, document for purpose of posterity and being able to give this information to what year, to our people, to people who will be coming after us, to the next generation. I want to bequeath the next generation these resources. So, ladies and gentlemen, as somebody said, I would want us to take a break. A break in this time round has to be very short, of 5 minutes. And in these 5 minutes, ensure that you are doing some exercise like skipping a rope 20 times. 20 times. When we come back at 6:02, we should be able now to continue with serious things now. Thank you very much. Let's meet at 6:02. This is what I would want us to know. We are here now. So under project management, there are simple things here that you're supposed to know under project management. So first of all, you need to know the characteristics of what your projects. I'm so sure you guys know projects. Like at my place of work, we run very many projects. Let me give you an example of a project that we are running at the moment. At my place of work, let me give you an example of a project that you're running at the moment. Okay, so at my place of work, we know that insurance companies, ladies and gentlemen, are supposed to do what? Insurance companies are supposed to report using IFRS 17 from January next year, IFRS 17. So then IFRS 17 is a very new thing globally. So now as Arrow, which is one of the leading software providers in the world, we are producing a software which insurance companies can use to do what here to produce their financial statements. And I'm the project leader. So now when we talk over IFRS 17 as a project, what have we done? So this is a very, projects must be very new. They are non-routine. We have never done this before, right? So then what do? We shall come and get, of course, in this case here, people doing this project from different departments. So we have from different departments. So for example, there is no way we can talk over IFRS 17 without an actuary. So we must get a person from the actuarial department. We must get an accountant who understands debit credit to be involved. We must get a software engineer who will be able now to code the language, right? So most importantly, that what you're supposed to know about this project management, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We are told here characteristics. First of all, they are really by definition non-routine. They are different from one's day-to-day activity. They will have specific starting and ending points. Very good in this case here, characteristic there. Secondly, they're usually addressing novel or new or unique challenges, something which you haven't done before and will probably never be asked to do again, right? They usually have project teams and the team members will normally be from different departments. Fourthly, for most projects, though not all, there is no benefit until the project is finished. If you don't finish the project, nothing really, right? All of these characteristics of a project should worry you. It's non-routine, it's novel. There are people from many backgrounds who have not worked together before. There is no benefit until the project is finished. Therefore, the risk attaching to projects can often be very great. We need to carefully how to control the project and its scope. Very important. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I would want you to know is that we have here what we call projects and strategic plans. A strategic plan is typically for a 5-year time horizon and for whole organizations. To implement that as a single task is impossible, and it must be broken down into a series of smaller tasks. Each task is a project, and each will have a plan. So we must have the start date, duration, finish, relationships to other projects, after some, before others. A cost has to be there when you're planning this. Who is responsible? Who is the project leader, right? Set outcomes, stages, what we call the milestones. Very, very important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call a business case. Is there anybody who has ever done a business case in their organization? You know, a business case, for example, when you're introducing a project like now where I work, you must come and tell us that, hey, you guys, you board, the board here, when we engage in this project, this is how the company is going to benefit. So under business case, we expect you to tell us how the company is going to profit out of this particular what-year project. So we have business case, and then we have a project initiation document. Project initiation document for purpose of funding. Listen here, those are the only things I'm discussing here. I'm not discussing so much on the project management. So we are told here business case. A business case should be prepared for any project. This will show how profits can be increased in a profit-seeking organization, or how service levels could be improved in a not-for-profit organization. Possible techniques include you do a cost-benefit analysis, a net present valuation, sensitivity analysis, forecasting techniques, expected values, etc. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing that I would want you to appreciate here is this project initiation document and the project plan. The project initiation document addresses who, why, when, how, what. It is an immensely important document and accomplishes the following. It defines the project, scope, and deliverables. It justifies the project, cost, benefit analysis, and risk analysis. It helps in securing funding for the project. It defines the role and responsibilities of project participants, who is the sponsor, who is the manager team. Gives people information they need to be productive and effective right from the start. Assignment schedule, human resources, project control, project quality. If you have ever seen this project initiation document, ladies and gentlemen, it talks quite a lot about what could go wrong. So they'll always have a whole chapter about risk management. There's a possibility that this project may not be completed. And if this project is not completed, then we can't get any benefit, right? Right. Project initiation. So it has got, you are arguing your case. You are arguing your case for you to be able to get acceptance from the board, for you to be able to get funding for your project, for you to be able to get funding for your project. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are being told something very nice here about this project initiation. It defines the project, its scope and deliverables, justifies the business, the cost benefit justification. Why, we can only justify this thing if benefit is more than cost. Secures funding. So please never forget this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, I would want us to go and look at a very important thing in relation to COVID-19, what we call a strategic drift. Strategic drift. Strategic drift. Now, I would want you to see this. It's about change. Somebody was asking about transformational. It's about change management. So you can see here, we have a company, for example, RCM Online College. This is how people behaved in terms of in terms of COVID-19. The environment was telling us change for you to increase, change, stop physical classes, change for you to increase. Some colleges in this case here remained there. They even closed school permanently. After some time, they realized Taura and the rest are doing this. They did, in this case, here, what we call an incremental change. So they came and started doing what we are doing. Wakaona kitu haingii vizuri, kitu ya Zoom haingii vizuri. So again, wakarelax hapa. Ikaenda namna hiyo, like that. Tena wakachange kidogo, incremental kidogo. Now from there, they started now experiencing, no, this thing is not for us. Now it's a strategic drift. Now they are drifting from reality totally, right? Now you can see in this case here, they are doing, in this case here, badly now. They are up and down. They don't know even where they are up to now. Big colleges, even up to now, they have never begun these online classes. Now it will reach a time where it is either they change fundamentally, which will cost them a lot of resources now that they have lost their students, now that their students, some of them are with me here now, right? Either they change very fundamentally in a big way, or in this case here, they get out of the market 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, strategic drift occurs when a company does not keep itself properly aligned with its environment and competitors, and so its strategy is no longer appropriate or relevant. The process of strategic drift and its consequences are illustrated using a number of stages. During incremental change, the company manages to keep up with the environment and matches it fairly closely. When there is this incremental change, it comes close. The strategic drift sets in, either because the environment changes again and the company doesn't, or the company changes in an appropriate way. Flux occurs when the company recognizes that something is wrong and the various adjustments are made, often in a state of desperation and panic. Either the company will manage to move radically in the right direction to match the environment. Once again, transformation. Here now you are far away. So to be able to match the environment, you have to do quite a lot, right? Quite a lot. Or the company will fail, will die. So that's what I wanted you to at least appreciate about what your strategic drift. And I hope you guys have taken a screenshot of this concept. And I hope you guys will be able to draw this kind of a thing in an exam. Strategic drift. I can see chats here. Yes, I'll be able to answer all your questions. You see, like now this guy is saying about a college which was closed in March 2020, simply because they never lived up to expectations, right? Business case, no. Business case is not the same as a business plan is bigger. Within the business plan, Catherine, we have a business case. Business plan is a big document. It's a big document. Business case is one of those items that you need under the business plan. And the business plan. So have you taken a screenshot of this, ladies and gentlemen, strategic drift? Yes, thank you so much. Now, the other thing that I would want us to appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, here for the sake of your exam, are these cases which are normally brought in your exam, but of course in different names. So we have, let me now give you the case of Nokia. I don't know whether you guys know Nokia. Yeah, let's start with Nokia. Nokia as a case study, remember, not Nokia. It should be this other one. 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 This other one. This other one. This other one. Called who? Kodak. Yes, called Kodak. In those good old days, I could see our old, quite now old, although ladies don't get old. They are 16. Young and forever, isn't it? Young forever, 16. But in those good old days, these ladies here, most of them, of course, even men, they could go to studios to do what here, to take photos. Yeah, to take a photo on a Monday, and then they come back for their photos like a Friday. Now, Kodak was a big thing, known for what here, those studio photos. Big thing, Kodak. They had films. Kodak. And the Kodak was doing very well. It was a big multinational existing almost in all areas globally. Kodak was a big, big company. It was in Europe, it was in the US, it was in Africa, Nairobi. You could get Kodak studios, very many of them, right? Very many of them, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. The CEO there one day came to the screen with a whole team of Kodak staff members and employees. What were they doing? They came to bid people bye-bye. And the manager, the CEO then, was very categorical that Kodak as a whole company is going down, not because we have stolen anybody's resources. It's not about corruption, no. It is simply because we were not able to match the environment. When the environment went digital, such that somebody in this case here could just take a phone, take a selfie, right? And then they print, right? Actually, they even never wanted to print. Social media never even wanted to print these things. Social media is about posting your photos, isn't it? Kodak never listened. And because of that, the environment does not care who you are as an organization. If you don't match what the environment and the competitors are doing, automatically you will be phased out. So, ladies and gentlemen, for us to be well within the dictates of the environment, and I would want you to raise this in a case question, the company needs to be what here, very innovative. The company needs to be engaged in what we call research. The company needs to be doing quite a lot of what here, benchmarking with its competitors. Where you guys work, do you really raise up your heads to see what your competitors are doing? Or you're just buried in the sun and trying to think that you're the best in the industry? Do you normally try in this case to raise up your heads to see what you're... And when you talk of competition, it's both local and international. Because right now the world has become a global village. You could be doing very well as a restaurant, for example. But if you are not careful, a restaurant will come from America, right? And whitewash you 100%. You can't continue doing things the same way and you expect what you expect to have good results. You need to keep on changing. Look at, for example, like restaurants like Highland. Highland, sometime back here, they used to be a big thing. But right now we have simple clubs that have come, like the Art Cafe. They're a bit expensive, yes, but the ambience they come with. When you are there, if, for example, you are here and you're a young man, if you take, for example, in this case here, a lady to a date, to Highlands, they don't respect you so much because there is no ambience there. People are making a lot of noise inside there, right? So we must innovate and be able to see what competition is doing. Otherwise, we shall do what we shall drift and drift to death. Like the chicken in, that one, in Botswana. Yes, so, yes, so, I remember being a client of Highlands. You see, now since 2013, Sharon, you were telling us, Highlands in 2013 used to be a big thing. But you see now, they have failed to do what? To innovate, right? They have failed to innovate. Through innovation, of course, they would have be up there and, of course, charging even better prices, right? Saizi siwezi enda huko, hiyo ni kama kibanda. It is true, yes. International disaster. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Kodak here. Kodak is an organization with almost unrivaled photochemistry. It had a reputation for excellent color films. Obviously, digital photography has had a huge impact on profitability of Kodak. The decline in Kodak's profits does not necessarily mean that Kodak did anything wrong. It might simply mean that its unique, excellent technology had its day history. If you're very good at something, but then no one wants what you are good at anymore, then success will be damaged. Kodak is trying to change to other areas of the market, such as cameras. However, having had a uniquely strong position in color chemistry, it could be very difficult to transfer the reputation and replicate your success even in related industries. For example, camera manufacturing there are powerful, long-established companies such as Canon, Pentax, Nikon, and Leica. Even though Kodak can make excellent digital cameras, it is hard to compete against those companies. Kodak might never make again the same high profits it once did. Very important for you to appreciate this. These are case studies. Yes, failure to innovate got so many hotels out of business. So many hotels out of business. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, from there we have IBM. IBM was a big thing. Do you know the mistake that IBM did? Is there anybody who knows the mistake that IBM did? IBM used to make the mainframe, big computers for offices, right? Right? Office computers. They never believed that one day people will come up with laptops which they'll be walking around with. They never believed that one day people will come up with the mini computers that are able to fit on the palm, right? These mobile phones. IBM right now could be the biggest, even in terms of, for example, these phones. I'm so sure IBM were it to adopt, were it to innovate in those old days, even Samsung would not be there, right? But they stuck with the old. And right now, what is IBM? IBM has now gone back to, are they making boots or shoes? Something like that, right? Let's read this case study of IBM. So we are told here, IBM, in the 70s, IBM was a very powerful and a profitable computer manufacturer. However, by mid-80s, it had registered one of the largest corporate losses ever made. In the space of about 5 years, there was a complete turnaround. How did this happen? With the benefit of hindsight, many commentators suggest that IBM hit hard times because it misread the impact of a change of technology, namely the impact of personal computers. For a company which had made a success of manufacturing and selling mainframe computers to large businesses and governments, personal computers might have seemed to be little more than playthings. A senior executive at the time was rumored to have commented that he couldn't see why anyone would make a computer in their home. IBM had also enjoyed very high rates of corporate growth for several decades. And once that happens to an organization, it might begin to believe that those rates of corporate growth are for the asking. The organization can become inward-looking and believe that it is invincible. It cannot be defeated. IBM only managed to survive. It did make personal computers and laptops for some years, but those products quickly became commodities subject to very strong competition from manufacturers established in countries with cheap labor. There was little. The most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that IBM came very late to these portable computers known as laptops market. It was too late. They could not now hack it. We don't hear of IBM. We don't hear of IBM. So we must do what here? We must innovate. We must innovate. If we want to survive, we must innovate. And innovation, ladies and gentlemen, means that we are lifting our heads up to do what here? To see what our competitors are doing. We must, ladies and gentlemen, do what we call benchmarking. Benchmarking is the process through which we are able to compare our performance against what your competitors, right? We can also compare performance against between departments in the same organization. On that breath, could you kindly, guys, give me the various types of benchmarking that you guys are aware of? Various types, please write them down there very fast. The various types of benchmarking that you guys are aware of, because I need you to quote them. I need you guys to quote them. Types of benchmarking. Types of benchmarking. I need you guys to quote this. Types of benchmarking. Types of benchmarking. We have internal benchmarking where we compare between what your departments, right? Have departments in this case here compete between themselves. Very important. External, ladies and gentlemen, external. We are comparing ourselves, for example, with the best in the industry, what we call competitor benchmarking. Competitor benchmarking. So the competitor benchmarking, if you're a hotel like Hilton, would really want to compare itself, in this case here, with Radisson Blu. Radisson Blu, I believe, is the best. I was meant to become a hotelier, right? That's what I was called to do in the university. But my father said during those old days that chef is something for women. But since then, I always keep on. I like hotels so much. When I compare Radisson Blu with even Stanley, Radisson Blu is in a different class. How they maintain their infrastructure, right, is up there. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get out there and see How is Red and Blue managing their, for example, the infrastructure? How are they doing this? We need to match their standards. Otherwise, we'll be whitewashed, right? That's competitor benchmarking. We also have the generic benchmarking. Generic benchmarking, this is where we take, ladies and gentlemen, this general. We take our performance and compare it with a different, with an organization which is in a different industry, right? For example, if it's an airline would want to compare itself with one of the best hotels. Why? Because of customer service, right? So generic. I've seen you guys have spoken about even international benchmarking where we go even beyond. Like our MCAs are so good at that. You'll get MCAs from Viga going to Israel for benchmarking purposes to see how Israel is doing their agriculture. But now the problem is, do they go and implement these things here back home? International disaster. So it's okay. So it becomes what here? Yeah, so we have historical where we look at history. We look at last year performance was like this. So very important. So ladies and gentlemen, when you talk of those, and you'll be able to get these things in those case questions very well. In these case questions very well. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, from there, the other thing that I would want you to know, like Uber. What do you think of Uber? Uber is another company that is really under siege, which is under siege, right? Right? Uber. Are they going to survive? Are they going to survive? I do not know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that your exam will be having quite a lot in terms of what year issues to do with the environment. So you talk of environmental matters, we must be in a position of remembering the 3 R's. 3 R's at the workplace. Do you know those 3 R's? I've repeated them several even in other subjects. 3 R's. Reuse. Recycle. Reduce. Refuse. I'm so big with refusing. At times I'll go to a shop and then you realize that this shopkeeper wants to give you, for example, like a bag to carry. If there are things you can walk around with and you have the confidence like the one, I can walk around with this thing like this. Why should I hide bread? Right? Refuse is the better term. Refuse is the better term. You refuse. You say, I don't want that packaging for the sake of my environment, for the sake of the future generation. I don't want this. And ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about this concept of the environment, please don't forget the 3 P's. Don't forget the 3 P's. Don't forget the 3 P's as I wind up. So we have here this triple bottom line, accounting, very important for you, the 3 P's. So the 3 P's, I know you know them. We don't have to discuss about this. We must report on our profit, our planet, and we must report about people. So our profit, there's nothing new here. It is the traditional reporting of financial performance. It is the financial statements. And the planet deals with environment and sustainability issues, sometimes known as the organizational environmental footprint. Metrics can include energy use of renewable energy like solar, raw materials, product kilometers, release of carbon dioxide, recycling, replacement of trees, release of effluent into rivers, and quantitative information can also be included, such as proclaiming ambitions to ensure production is sustainable and non-detrimental to the areas from which resources are obtained. So that is the language I would want to see you guys using. The concept of what here, the ozone layer, vis-a-vis what here, carbon dioxide, right? the more the carbon we emit. For example, if we are using this Subaru, if there is a Subaru man here, making a lot of noise and burning fossil fuels in a very bad way, you are becoming disastrous. You are a disaster to our environment, right? 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 Great. So we want to hear that language, carbon footprints, etc., etc., etc. That way you'll be able to showcase that you are really mature to pass this subject. And normally it comes in the context of what here? Case questions. Of course, people deals with social issues. Metrics can include reporting on ethnic and the gender composition of the workforce, comparisons of the wages between different groups, health, safety, training, job security, etc., etc. Those are things I would expect to see in you guys. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I've done a whole question, case question, which I have a video, which now I would want to share with you that case question that was done, this one of sugar company, which I would want to share with you on WhatsApp immediately after this. Otherwise, it has been a pleasure hosting you this morning. So I believe that you have gained something that can make you now a bit confident to be able to overcome in this paper. You don't have, then what I'll do, not in any group. Wow, okay. We need groups. Why are we not having groups? We need groups. I'll talk to, Stephen is here. So Stephen then should be able to help us create